In Southern California, the sun rises over San Diego Bay. Next to a parkway, in this parking lot, 54-year-old Maria begins her day.
Straighten my bed.
This car is her home.
This is every day. This routine about stretching my bed.
Maria no longer has a place to live. She's been sleeping in her van for a year now.
Looks pretty nice. You don't see, it doesn't seem that you live here, but you do. I have seen people with their cars so messy and things all over the place, and how can I go to work with my life like that? I mean, it has to have a little order, you know, because it's what we need to continue. It's not that perfect, but it's the way I want, and makes me feel better.
Just like Maria, around 30 other people sleep overnight in their car in this free parking lot. Nevertheless, most of them work. They're security guards, Uber drivers, secretaries, or even computer technicians. Maria is a cleaner and a carer, exhausting work that she does 7 days a week.
Yeah. Depends where my car is. If it's like this, I won't. Has to be flat, because my back hurts if it's like that. Or
To provide some comfort for all these people, an organization has supplied them with a water point, portable toilets, and a small outdoor kitchen where Maria prepares her morning coffee before going to work.
This kind of bulletproof coffee. It's very famous in the United States.
Maria's fall from grace is a situation that affects thousands of other Americans. For a long time, she had everything she always wanted. She was married and lived in this beautiful house. But after 5 years of living together, her blissful marriage suddenly fell apart.
He kind of dumped me. He said, okay, it didn't work, bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye, see you later. I said, what? No, I don't have a place, no home. I'm a homeless. No bed, no furniture, no house, so it's just my car. I have a seat here. And yeah, that's the way it is.
Maria didn't get to keep a single thing. She preferred to leave everything to her ex-husband and turn over a brand new leaf. But over the last several years in California, the cost of rent has risen so much that her salary of 1,500 euros was not enough to afford an apartment. Ever since then, every morning before heading to work, she goes to this gym. She exercises for 45 minutes, but she mainly comes for another, rather urgent need.
I had to take this decision because I had no place to shower. One time I didn't shower for a week. Feels terrible, let me tell you. You feel like a homeless, stinky. So I thought, what should I be doing? So I thought, oh, a gym. So I came here.
Her membership costs her 40 euros a month, the cost of continuing a near normal life. Upon leaving the gym, no one would notice that Maria no longer has a house and that she sleeps in her car.
I have a wonderful job because of that. Because if I don't shower, nobody's gonna hire me. I'm gonna be homeless, no car, no nothing. My world's gonna go drop, you know, and what am I gonna be doing? I'll be completely 100% homeless. Oh no, kill myself. Just kidding.
Maria is just one of many middle-class American citizens who have, in recent years, fallen into poverty. Officially, America is great again. Since the 2008 crisis, the economy has never been stronger, a record-breaking growth. And unemployment has dropped to a historical low, less than 4%, an upturn for which Donald Trump has claimed all the credit.
There has never been a better time to start living the American dream.
But despite what the president affirms, the famous American dream is far from being achieved. In the United States, 40 million people are living below the poverty line, and millions of workers will go to great lengths to stay above it.
You get money? Are you familiar with plasma? You get, okay. I do that twice a week.
Becoming homeless overnight is what these Americans fear most, because here, the system is not very kind to those short of cash.
You better catch up real quick, or you're going to have a judgment of possession against you and get evicted.
In some states, being late on your rent is no laughing matter.
Sheriff's office.
Here, one by one, tenants are evicted at gunpoint.
Where am I going to sleep? I can sleep in the hotel if I need to.
For these Americans on the verge of ruin, seeking medical treatment can cost a fortune.
It's hard to eat and take your medicine too, because you may not get one or the other.
So some people are standing up in solidarity, making sure they're taken care of free of charge in field hospitals, not unlike those found in a country at war, an insight into the lives of those who cannot scrape a living in the heart of destitute America. San Diego in Southern California, 300 days of sunshine a year, beaches as far as the eye can see, an idyllic setting, a picture postcard California. San Diego is also one of the most dynamic cities in the country. Here, unemployment is practically non-existent. This dream lifestyle was once an everyday reality for Eric. He was a successful computer engineer earning 7,000 euros a month. Today, at 53 years old, this man lives alone in his car. And to eat for free, he's made an agreement with the employees of a pizzeria.
Hello. How are you today?
Good, and you?
Good.
Here to pick up the slices.
Yep.
I got them for you.
Thank you.
What do you take here?
These are the slices that they have in their display that they have them for too long, then they put them in the fridge for me so that they donate them.
Here we go, 2 boxes.
Eric comes every evening to pick up some pizza.
Well, thank you very much. Very much appreciate it. Okay, bye-bye.
He's going to share these unsold slices with other victims of poverty, because for a year and a half, Eric has been sleeping in this parking lot, the one where Maria, the cleaner, also lives. With his pizza, he makes his neighbors very happy.
There's a lot.
Like Lorella, a 55-year-old Uber driver.
Looks good.
You're hungry?
Yeah, we're hungry.
Did you eat today?
No.
No?
No, I had a drive all day today.
In his former life, Eric also worked a lot, 50 hours a week. But 4 years ago, he suffered a burnout, as well as a series of health problems, including problems with his heart. He could not work and received unemployment benefits for 6 months, and then nothing at all.
I thought I could handle it. I thought I would get better, but it took a toll. And after several years of just dealing with doctors and burning through my savings, I ended up basically burning through everything and couldn't afford to stay in an apartment any longer.
Eric is trying to pick himself up. Nowadays, he's doing temporary work and is saving up to be able to rent an apartment. After her long day at work, Maria is back.
You tired?
Yeah. It's where I work is a little hard because I have to lift a lady She's very heavy. Back and forth, back and forth. But 9 hours is not. It's a lot of hours, but I'm okay. Thirsty, my food, my bed. I'm ready to jump in my bed. I'm very tired.
At 9:30 at night, the gates close. From this point onward, no more cars can enter the parking lot. At night, there isn't a security guard. And even though there hasn't been any attacks, this doesn't reassure Maria.
I close the door, put the windows down, like this much, and put the alarm. If somebody's trying to break in, I will know. I got my pepper spray. And I have my cutter. Somebody's trying to break in, psh, spray. Yeah, because you never know. That's it.
A few meters away, Eric is getting ready to spend another night in his car, even though the passenger compartment is full to the brim. The former computer engineer will sleep sitting behind the wheel, certainly far from the comforts of his old life.
And one thing that I've really found out about this is that, the typical stereotype of, the homeless person being lazy and not wanting to work or being a drug addict. That may be the case in some places, but the people I've come to in this program, most of them are very hardworking, people that want to get ahead, that either have some health issues or have had a streak of bad luck, or for whatever reason, they've come into this situation. Some people are able to get out of it quickly. Some people it takes longer.
California is a state of stark contrasts. Despite being the 6th largest economy in the world, more and more of its workers can no longer afford somewhere to live. But there is another state where the system is even more unforgiving. This state is Virginia, right next to Washington, D.C., and in particular, its capital city, Richmond. Richmond is a former industrial city. Here, a quarter of the population live beneath the poverty threshold. Richmond also holds an unfortunate record. This city has one of the highest rates of eviction in the United States. There are 3,000 evictions per year. That's 25 times more than in Paris. The evictions are a routine job for Officer Loyal from the sheriff's office. Several times a week, he distributes these yellow documents.
Hey, how are you? Does Candace live here? Okay. Ms. This was a notice that I placed on your door. It's an eviction notice. You need to get in touch with the the manager here, if you feel that's incorrect, but we set an eviction for August the 7th at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I talked to her already.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
In the state of Virginia, the law is strict. If the rent is late by 5 days, the landlord has the right to begin the eviction process. A few weeks later, the tenant receives a notice on their door.
Do you know what it is?
I know what it is.
You have only 1 week to get out.
Yeah,
It's not a lot.
I know. Well, we'll figure it out. I already know what.
Sometimes, carried away by his own enthusiasm, Officer Loyal is not always accurate.
Look at his name. Hey, how are you? Are you,
No,
does she live here?
no, this is out me. It's me.
This woman, who has nothing to feel guilty about, got away with nothing more than a fright.
I'm sorry, ma'am, we're at the wrong apartment. Thank you.
The threatened tenants have 1 week to settle their debts. Otherwise, they face eviction by force. And Officer Loyal does not show much sympathy. This morning, he and his colleague must evict the person that lives in this house.
Sheriff! Sheriff's Office!
And just like arresting a dangerous criminal,
Sheriff's Office!
they enter the home armed with guns.
Take it back.
Okay.
Sheriff's Office!
Right now, the tenant is not at home, and clearly, he's not had time to vacate the premises.
Mr. Chenault, you're okay to change the locks out.
As for the landlord, he immediately reclaims his property. On average in France, it takes 1.5 years to evict someone, whilst here, it happens in almost an instant. In less than 2 months, everything is settled.
Check everything?
I'm checking the windows now
Why?
to make sure the house is secure.
The tenant has just arrived and is in shock. She had been renting the house for 7 years. A single mother to a grown-up daughter, she works, but has frequently struggled to make ends meet. She can only pick up her belongings the next day, otherwise everything will go to the junkyard at her expense.
I've been here for 7 years. You know, I don't watch.
It's just going to be easier on you, like the vehicle that's in the backyard or whatever. If you have it removed, because if he has a tow company remove it, then that's an added expense that you'd be looking at.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's fine.
Do you think all this is a little bit harsh?
Do I think it's harsh? No, he got to do what he got to do, and I got to do what I got to do.
Where are you gonna sleep?
Where am I going to sleep?
Yeah.
I can sleep in the hotel if I need to.
The hotel?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
She's thrown out on the streets with no room for negotiation.
This is the only way to make the tenant move?
That's up to her, if that's the only way. She said she would move before this. Didn't move.
Maybe she had nowhere to go.
You know, she never did say that to me.
There are around 10 evictions just like this one every day in Richmond. As a consequence of this express justice, budget hotels on the outskirts of the city have become a refuge for those who've been kicked out of their homes. Some people stay there for a very long time. This is the case for David, a 38-year-old gardener.
What's going on, man? Same old, new day.
David has lived in this motel since his eviction 2 years ago. At the weekend, this divorced father's children come to stay over in his 10-square-meter room, for which he pays 1,300 euros a month.
This is it, man. This is our bedroom, living room, family room, every room. This is the little kitchen, which I cooked her eggs last night and made hamburgers, so I ain't cleaned the dishes yet. You know, we hung out, played video games. And bathroom. You know, got a shower, but that's about all.
During the week, David shares this single room, which is bursting with things, with his new partner.
Is it not too hard to live for 2 years here?
Oh man, I'm like cramped, you know, like obviously if you put two people in the same room for a long enough time, you're gonna bump heads and have arguments and stuff.
His girlfriend has a stable job in the insurance business. As a couple, they could buy themselves a bigger and less expensive apartment, yet they remain trapped in this tiny room because their past eviction continues to haunt them.
But at the time, she was trying it first, and then you get so beat down by going to places and stuff, and they're not giving you a place because they're like, oh, you had an eviction. It's, you know, shows that you didn't pay this like 2 months or something like that, and it definitely was detrimental to it. You know, there was no way of getting anywhere.
It is almost unthinkable in Europe, but here, landlords are able to access the past of bad tenants with a few simple clicks. A systematic surveillance that has been denounced by Martin Vegbright, a lawyer and defense attorney for tenants.
So, this database is a public database. I mean, anyone can go on to this database and look at it, and you can search by name. So, Let's try a common American name. Here we go. Oh, Mary Gillespie. Okay. There we go. And you can see 5 unlawful detainers. Let's see.
10 years ago, this tenant had a series of late payments. Despite being small amounts, like this $291, they can bear heavy consequences.
So if I'm a landlord, I can look at that and say, well, that was 10 years ago, but I think she's too much of a risk. I don't want to rent to her. If anything bad happens to you, whether it's, you get your hours cut back at work, whether you break an ankle and you're off work for a month, whether you got that car repair bill or that hospital bill or anything that just throws your budget off slightly, you better catch up real quick or you're going to have a judgment of possession against you and get evicted. So the tenant really is living under the sword of Damocles.
With such a system, it's difficult to imagine how David could one day leave his motel and buy himself an apartment in which he could properly house his children.
But in a situation like this too, if you're depressed and you sit in one little room by yourself a lot, you end up drinking or doing something stupid. And thank God drinking's my only vice right now, But trying to be a decent person, a good dad.
David is far from an isolated case. 6,300 people are evicted throughout America each day. Although in the city finding accommodation is the main source of anxiety, there is a region where for some, the main worry is simply being able to put food on the table. Welcome to rural America, the Appalachia, in the eastern part of the country, a mountainous region. Appalachia was once widely known for its coal production. These days, almost all of the mines are closed down. It is often said that the American dream got lost somewhere along the way to here. The Appalachian region, with a predominantly white population, is where the poorest counties in the country are found. During the summer, at lunchtime, this food truck travels up and down the disadvantaged areas of Roanoke. Luce and Stacy are 2 volunteers that give out free meals to children.
In the school system, you get lunch and you get breakfast. So a lot of families depend on that lunch or breakfast that they don't necessarily have to buy, if that makes sense, because the school system will provide it for them. But in the summer, from June to mid-August, there's no school. So then where are those meals coming from? So that's where we kind of step in.
They serve up to 200 meals a day, and every time they arrive, they are eagerly awaited.
Hey, girl.
Hi. How you doing, Stacy?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Oh, can't complain.
Here. Big hug. Big hug. Oh, there we go.
Give me a hug, Stacy.
Y'all hungry?
Yes, I'm starving. Okay. I'm good.
On today's menu, a sandwich, a carton of milk, and a kiwi. In this family, both parents do not work. They receive 1,200 euros of social welfare a month. But as a family of 5, it's barely enough to live on.
Well, I try to get in at least 2 to 3, but towards the end of the month when the stamps run low, I'll maybe eat 1.
One a day. For example, now we are at the end of the month.
Yes, 1 a day.
One a day?
Yes.
Which one?
I usually skip breakfast and lunch, and breakfast and lunch, and then I eat dinner. So that's all
only
I can.
dinner?
Yes, only dinner.
Being poor to the point of starving yourself.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Stacy.
Bye.
Au revoir.
You too.
This reality is nothing new in the Appalachian region. In 1964, during his election campaign, President Johnson visited Appalachia. He was horrified by this poverty. Once elected, he launched a master plan to put an end to poverty.
Today, here and now, declares unconditional war on poverty in America.
One of his ideas was to create food stamps, which were food coupons given free of charge to the poor. Still, to this day, the government distributes these food stamps to 40 million American people. In this mobile home park in the heart of the Appalachia, the majority of families benefit from this food aid. With the American flag hanging from the front steps, this is the mobile home of 58-year-old Cyrenia Collins. A former Marine, Cyrenia no longer works following a long-term illness. She receives a pension of 700 euros. So every day she tries to get by.
Like I said, everything in here is given to me, basically. These were tables that were given to me. They were really ugly. So I'm in the process of painting them and making them a little personal. So that's another way of cutting costs. This is the Queen's chair. This is my chair, throne. Comfort. I love it. So it's just something that, actually when I bought it, it was a big expense. And it was $1,300, so I made payments on it. Only thing in the house that's really expensive for me, you know, so this is my chair.
And her financial difficulties have gotten worse since she started to accommodate her niece Jennifer, an unemployed single mother who has 3 children to take care of. Leah, Lindsay, and Jaden. Fortunately, Jennifer receives food stamps.
Every month on the first day, according to how many kids you have and your income, they put, you know, so much on there. And I get, every month on the first, I'll get like $640.
Just to buy food?
Just for food, yeah.
560 euros a month to feed 5 people. A tight budget. Before going shopping, the 2 women check the balance on their card.
Your SNAP balance is $62.38.
Cyrenia and Jennifer can spend their food coupons in any supermarket, like this discount store where they regularly go. Once at the checkout, the food stamp card works just like any other credit card. And in this shop in the Appalachia, they are by no means the only ones who use it.
How many people pay with food stamps here?
Probably half the people that come in here. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Donald Trump is planning to cut down on the amount of people who receive food stamps. He risks making an already vulnerable society even poorer. But ironically, here they voted 80% in favor of him, and their support for him continues. To earn a little extra money, Cyrenia does some household tasks for her neighbors. For a few dollars, she also cuts James's hair, who works in the mine. He is a loyal follower of Donald Trump.
I am a Trump fan, yeah. I do support Trump.
Why?
Because he's done everything he said he'd do. You know, Trump is willing to help other countries, but his country comes first. That's not happened in a long time. Donald Trump is a billionaire. Donald Trump keeps his family everywhere he goes. His children, his wife are everywhere with him. That tells you a lot about a person.
Family's in it.
Family, and that's why I work for my family.
It's been the last so many years, maybe 30 years, that there's not been jobs. Now there is. Our unemployment rate is way down.
Really?
Yeah.
Really.
Still
right
low.
now, it's,
Still
yeah. Theoretically, every person in the USA can have a job. Isn't that what they told us? There is a job for every person with the numbers. So if people want to work, they can find a job.
Their unwavering support is somewhat difficult to understand, because since his election, the daily life of individuals in the Appalachia has not improved. Poverty is ever present and has led to some strange occurrences. In this small town, in the middle of the night, dozens of cars enter a showground.
Pull over right over here, right now.
If you'll turn right here.
Sold out, okay? I suggest that you be back here about 3 or 4 o'clock.
Well, it kind of trips you out because it makes you think it's like everybody's lining up like you're going to a concert and you get there just to keep your teeth drilled on or something, you know?
Actually, these people are arriving by the hundreds quite simply to see a doctor, because every year here for a weekend,
All you're gonna get in this line is medical only.
a nonprofit organization arranges free consultations.
Oh, there is the huge need. A lot of their families in this area are the working class families. They're struggling to choose between paying for medicine that can save their life or, you know, groceries for the week. So it's a shame to have to do it this way, but you got to take care of your people. And these are our people, and this is the way we take care of our people.
We made it through it.
Even though the healthcare system improved with Barack Obama, 28 million Americans still do not have any health insurance.
Medical services for you.
Serenia also does not want to miss the event. She spent 2 hours on the bus to come and camp here, but during the night, a heavy thunderstorm broke out.
Good morning. We've had an adventure. We had a flood. Literally a flood. It came really dark over, and next thing you know, we've got a gully washer down through here. Nothing, everything in there is soaked. Blankets, everything. And no sleep last night.
Serenia has arrived with all her family, her niece Jennifer and her 3 children. They all need to see the dentist. But medical fees in the United States are the most expensive in the world, beyond the budget for a large section of the population. So staying up all night does not bother them.
But I mean, you struggle to have medical assistance.
Yeah, it's not easy. Not easy.
But you have to do it.
Absolutely. The alternative is not a good thing. So, have to.
The family arrived the night before because here the rule is first come, first served. At 6 o'clock in the morning, the doors open. They announce the running order.
125, 127. Somebody's sound asleep in the car, ain't they? 128. So next time we'll call in groups of 20 again, all right?
Once inside, these patients discover a full-scale field hospital. A scene that resembles more that of a humanitarian disaster. And yet, it's really just modern-day America. Here, people are treated in turn by a horde of volunteers, nurses, family doctors, but also specialists who are able to care for more complicated illnesses. The most remarkable part takes place in this sports hall, transformed into a gigantic dentist office. All day long, 60 dentists descale, drill, fill, and remove teeth by the dozen. A daunting sight for some. Arriving upon the scene, Serenia is overcome with emotion.
It's beautiful. All the people volunteering, and so many people getting help that need it. Before my sister passed away, she had all of her teeth taken out, and she didn't have any teeth to replace them with. And she was younger than I am now, and she was my older sister, so I think about what she went through with health issues because of her teeth, and they're important.
In turns, the family are going to be examined. Jaden, the youngest, feels a little uneasy.
So, I want you to brush, even if it's when you come home from school, you gotta get 2 times, and you can get 3, that's really good. Okay? All right.
In a situation like this, prevention is the main goal of these dentists. All has gone well for Jaden. He's eligible for a simple routine checkup. But for Serenia, the medical care that lies ahead is trickier. She's already missing 5 molars and is worried that they'll remove a 6th one that is extremely damaged. After 3 hours of waiting, it's her turn to go up.
It feels great. No.
Ma'am, are you ready?
I think.
Ready or not? Right?
Sir.
All right, I'll take you this way.
Oh my God.
A young student about to complete his university degree is going to take care of her. Before treating Serenia, he's already had time to familiarize himself with the job. He spent his morning extracting teeth.
Did you extract today? Have you extracted?
I've extracted about 15 teeth today.
15?
Yep, myself, yeah. So.
It's a lot?
Yeah.
Pretty good day.
Yeah, it's a pretty good day, yeah.
He will spend 15 minutes removing Serenia's tooth, his 16th of the day.
What do you feel?
Like I have a big mouth.
But here, there's no time to take a breather. Serenia is escorted to the gym locker rooms for the next stage.
You got her.
I got her. Come on, Miss Collins. I'm back.
Take care, Miss Collins.
Thank you. God bless. Thanks for everything.
A dental prosthesis studio, which, like the rest, is led by volunteers and funded by donations.
Lips relax. Relax. Don't lay your head back. Just relax your lips. Relax.
In this room, they take the dental impressions. And in the room next door, a new set of teeth is created in less than 2 hours. Serenia's new smile is ready.
Here we go. How's that feel?
Awkward, but okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have teeth.
You have teeth? All the way back? Yeah. You're welcome, darling. Thank you.
I want a big smile. Cheese!
There you go.
You're good. Thank you.
You know that I can smile and feel it. That's what I want. That's what I need. Yes.
What happened?
I had teeth.
Did you got the same thing out?
No, they put new teeth in. Love you.
If the family had paid for all this treatment, they would have had to spend over $3,000. In the United States, there are still some American citizens that are personally taking action to give aid to the poor. At the other end of the country, a man has embarked upon a mission against poverty, which has plagued the sidewalks of his city, a legendary city that is seldom associated with poverty.
And this is Los Angeles and Hollywood.
38-year-old punk Elvis is furious with what Los Angeles has become in recent years.
It's not a third world country. It's one of the richest countries in the world. It's almost like a movie prop. It's hard to fathom that, like, every single day, this is how people live.
Los Angeles is the symbol of the California dream, the heart of Hollywood cinema and the temple of luxury. And yet, today, Los Angeles is the homeless capital of America. In the last few years, the number of homeless people has increased from 33,000 to 55,000. Beneath the business towers, the situation has become tragic.
When I was a kid and lived here, it was nothing like it is now. I left for almost 2 decades, and I came back a few years ago, and it just blows my mind. It's just going to increase because every month the cost of everything keeps going up. There's no regulation, so apartment owners and landlords can raise the money, the rent, whenever they like, but nobody's paychecks are getting bigger.
Outraged by the situation of these homeless people, Elvis gave up his job as a sales assistant. He lives on the salary of his partner, Leah, who works at the university. In this way, Elvis can devote all his time to helping the homeless. A little further from downtown, a woman has moved in beneath this bridge. Elvis and Leah regularly pay her a visit.
All right, baby.
Cammie has been living here for 5 years in a small tent that she shares with another woman. Inside, they are at the mercy of the dangers of the street. They've already been assaulted several times.
But just look at it everywhere. They just tore it right open, and now she doesn't even have a door. When she sleeps out here at night, there's also no lights right under here, so it's very dark. And, you know, especially as a woman, that's pretty damn scary. Even if a guy, it's scary because anybody can walk up in the dark, walk right in, do whatever they want.
To help these people, Elvis wants to do more than just bring them bottles of water. His major project is hiding in the courtyard of this church. He came up with the idea to build small wooden houses for them. They're not big, barely 4 square meters, but inside, Elvis and Leah have thought of every last thing to improve the daily lives of these homeless people.
Window alarms?
Yes.
So what does it mean?
So if someone tries to open the window, the alarm will go off. This right here allows people to sleep. When people sleep, they can think, they can do better. They feel better, they want better.
The house is also equipped with a fire alarm, a light, and a phone charger, all of which is powered by a solar panel. Elvis thinks of everything to the last detail in order to give some dignity back to the homeless. He even assigns them an address.
They're obviously not going to be recognized by the post office or, or something like that, but it's really just psychological. You know, my apartment has an address. I'm sure your place has an address. That's the ultimate goal. Most of the people, anyone that's homeless is treated like garbage. You know, once you have that title, you're screwed, because people look at you like a monster, or, like someone bad, or you chose to be there, or you're crazy, or and it's most of the time it's not the case. And so it's so easy to dehumanize people, but the little tiny things, it's so easy to bring that back to a person.
Each cabin costs 1,000 euros, financed entirely by donations collected on the internet. But his generous initiative is illegal. The mayor of Los Angeles has banned him from installing his cabins on the sidewalks of the city. Elvis doesn't care. And this morning, he's going to deliver one of them to a homeless couple who very much need it.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm Elvis.
Hi, I'm Krista.
Nice to meet you.
This is our dog, Brownie. Hi, Brownie.
Crystal is 32 years old and is 3 months pregnant. She lives on the curb of this sidewalk with her partner, Andre.
What's up, buddy?
Love you, my nigga. Love you, my nigga. I love you.
How are you?
God, man.
I was hoping you weren't going to be gone long.
That's the mother to be.
For 4 years now, the couple have been sleeping in this tiny wheeled cart that is swarming with bugs.
Yeah, man, it's like bed bugs. It's eating me alive, man. Like I said, you can, everything, all these little different marks, man. It's from mostly not being able to have good hygiene.
Elvis does not feel like hanging around.
So the trick is to get this done and off before the cops show up.
But all the same, the small house weighs 400 kilograms, and the wheels remain stuck on the street.
Here, yep, all we gotta do is...
A neighbor and another homeless person from the neighborhood come to lend him a helping hand.
Nice, thank you.
You still good on our house?
I'm starting to bring them back out, man.
And as soon as the home is set up, Other homeless people are begging him for a small
I'll be
house.
back. I have a couple more almost ready to go. So, thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
Much apprecited.
It's like, I'm gonna get a house. No more living in a tent. Yay!
But his project does not quite make everyone happy.
Why don't you go back in your house and enjoy the air conditioning?
A neighbor has come to express her discontent.
She's against this.
Why?
She doesn't want it in front of her house.
She's calling the police, and so we need to hurry along, and we'll pray that they are allowed to keep their house. This is how it goes in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Man.
Praise God. I thank you.
Good luck to both of you. Congratulations.
A few days after filming, the police threatened Elvis that they would destroy his cabin if he didn't remove it. He decided to move it with the couple onto privately owned land. In the end, the disgruntled neighbor won her case. But some people are trying to fight the snubbing of the homeless people in fascinating ways.
Yes, sir. Very much so.
We are heading to Texas, to Puritan Waco. This city has around 50 churches for its 120,000 residents. Here, once a month, a religious community organizes a strange program. People come from all over the United States to take part in it.
Do you know what's gonna happen for you?
Not really.
No?
No idea. A little bit.
What? What do you know?
We're gonna be homeless.
For 24 hours, these high school students are going to live, eat, and sleep like the homeless. Much like 20 or so other participants, all from middle-class backgrounds. Each person has paid 60 euros to take part in this project. Janet Durrell came up with the idea 25 years ago. The wife of a minister, she's already accepted 30,000 people to take part in this astonishing role-play challenge.
The goal is to create compassionate care for humanity in poverty. Everybody can get the American dream, but when you're trapped in poverty and the cycles of poverty, you have to have an advocate to get you out.
Ladies, you have 15 minutes to shop.
According to Janet, in order to truly experience the life of a homeless person, you have to start by looking like them. In this second-hand clothes store, the participants are encouraged to dress like them.
Homeless clothes?
I don't know. I don't know what homeless people wear. Probably gonna wear these though.
You're looking for cool clothes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dashers over there.
You're supposed to be homeless.
Yeah, but I'm a fashionable homeless.
Jeans and these little boots. But I think that they'll keep the mosquitoes off of my ankles, so I'm happy about that.
For the moment, it's not too demanding, but it is going to get more complicated with the second stage, sleeping out in the open. Not in the streets, but safely in this fenced yard. However, 53-year-old mother Marta is slightly concerned.
I'm scared of bugs. I'm scared of bugs.
She thought long and hard before signing up to the program. It was her husband who convinced her to take the plunge.
It doesn't look like real homeless situation.
Right, yes. It doesn't smell like poop. It doesn't smell like urine. There's not rats running everywhere. Yeah, no. This is definitely luxury homelessness. Yeah, for sure.
A fact that is a comfort nevertheless, and it won't be a very long night.
Good morning, everyone.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, Janet Durrell gives everyone a wake-up call, and they don't look particularly well-rested.
Come on, Martha.
It's not a real homeless situation. They're safe.
They're safer than being on the street, but this is not as safe as being in their home with their family. So it just gives them a little bit more reality of what living in the environment does on your body. So by tonight, it takes about 24 hours to really start getting the idea that this could be really rough.
For the next stage of the program, the participants are let loose in the city center. Their task is to find something to eat on their own and without any money.
You can smell the food. So, should I ask this guy? We can't.
You cannot beg or solicit people at restaurants.
In Waco, like in many other cities in the United States, begging is a punishable offense. It's also forbidden to rummage through the garbage cans.
Oh, there's no food in there?
They are owned by the city, and reclaiming anything at all is considered stealing. In order to survive, the homeless in Waco are therefore forced to break the law. Our two participants are not going to find anything to eat. And after 2 hours of walking through the streets in 40-degree heat, Marta feels faint. She must resort to calling her husband to the rescue.
But I feel like I'm too weak.
Well, you
Like
learned
I'm
something
too-
about yourself.
Like I'm too old and fat and I can't do it.
You've learned something about yourself and what it would be like to be homeless at your age.
Yeah.
And it'd be hard.
Are Americans truly ready to face up to poverty? Perhaps not. Their leader, Donald Trump, has recently announced that the rate of poverty is falling dramatically. Despite this, 40 million of his fellow citizens are still suffering in its clutches.
California is one of the richest states in the USA. However, it's hard to believe what's happening in this northern suburb of Los Angeles every week. In this parking lot, 3,000 cars are waiting in line for food to be handed out. Millions of Americans have lost their jobs as a result of the health crisis and are struggling to make ends meet.
Can you pop the trunk? Thank you.
The food bank is open to everyone regardless of their income. Each family receives 3 boxes of food,
Choke up the 3 lanes.
just enough to last a week between 4 people.
Keep going.
Amy's in charge of logistics, with every last detail organized.
So what we have here, the fruit that we're giving are plums, grapes, oranges, and then here we have frozen chicken items, and it's 20 pounds. What they're getting today too is a box of masks. Low-income households don't have the funding to purchase these masks. How many households? How many families? One. Just one?
These middle-class Americans have fallen into poverty overnight.
Dos trabajos que tenía, lo cerraron. En el restaurante porque se habían cerrado y car wash. Tengo 4, pesadito.
We heard it might be, like they've been cut off their employment and everything, and so we might as well just be prepared.
Even more surprising, we come across luxury cars like this Mustang, BMW, and Tesla, worth almost $60,000. Like many others, this executive hasn't been spared by the crisis.
We are surprised because you drive a Tesla, which is a car everyone wants to drive, and still you're here like everyone.
I lost my job.
What do you do?
I work for an import distribution company, and I've been with the company for 11 years, but the company is having a very difficult time. So I may be called back in several months, not sure. Very uncertain at this point.
In California alone, 2.5 million workers lost their jobs at the height of the pandemic.
Station number 3, estación 3.
Amy has never seen so many recipients.
Just last week, they were able to make that car payment. They were able to make that house payment. And now, really, it's everyone across the board is going through some sort of challenge at home.
Amy is supported by around 100 volunteers. A lot of them have found themselves unemployed due to COVID. Leslie was a sports coach.
You need to do good things for others to feel good about yourself.
You've been volunteering a long time for us, you know.
How could this be? Never in my lifetime did I ever think that we would be in this situation. This is America. I'm actually angry that the person in the Oval Office didn't act sooner and make some right choices.
According to the organization Feeding America, 1 American in 6 could struggle to feed themselves by the end of the year. In the US, the pandemic has already caused 200,000 deaths, and it has led to the worst recession the country has seen since the 30s.
I want every American to be prepared for the hard days that lie ahead.
After years of spectacular growth, this unprecedented economic crisis has caught America off guard. In just a few months, the USA's GDP recorded a historic drop of 33%. New York and its 8 million inhabitants are at a standstill. Las Vegas now a ghost town. Factories closed down, deserted malls. Empty airports. American giants like Disney or American Airlines have made hundreds of thousands of people redundant. Joe Biden fears the looming social crisis.
Enough. Each day, the pandemic death toll grows. And each day, too many American workers are still out of work and losing hope.
More than 11 million Americans have lost their job over the past few months. The government introduced federal aid for the unemployed, $600 a week for 4 months.
Today I signed the Paycheck Protection Program and Healthcare Enhancement Act, providing $320 billion to keep American workers on the payroll.
But this didn't stop millions of workers falling under the poverty line. Mark and Celine closed their restaurant overnight due to COVID. Without any income or health insurance, they don't know how they're going to pay their son's hospital fees.
To fix his arm, $11,000.
Unable to pay their rent, 40 million tenants will have been threatened with an eviction notice between now and the end of the year. Kirsten waits every day for the sheriff to come and throw her out onto the street.
You're trespassing now.
Middle-class families are finding themselves homeless. Stephen and Anita were earning more than $100,000 a year. Now they live in their car.
One of our old blankets from the house and put that on top of my clean clothes.
Even oil millionaires have been affected by the recession. Carl has had to sell his oil wells.
The COVID and lack of demand for fuels has made it worse than ever.
Some people still manage to make it through in the midst of a pandemic. Thomas and Arthur, 2 French nationals based in California, have started manufacturing antibacterial and anti-COVID masks.
On a vendu des dizaines de milliers déjà. On fait à peu près du x3 en termes de volume de vente.
Will the American dream survive this crisis after Biden has been elected president? From Texas to California, via the rural landscapes of the Midwest, we travel through an America on the brink of a depression. Wisconsin, in the northwest of America, is nicknamed America's Dairy Farm. But these farms have recently become symbols of the economic crisis. Due to lack of demand, the price of milk has collapsed. Not a week goes by without a farmer going bankrupt. This morning, a public auction has been organised on this farm. Farmers from all over Wisconsin are ready for a bidding war. All the dairy equipment on this farm is for sale.
Look at here. Yeah. 7? Yeah. 18. Yeah.
Curious neighbours, but also owners of larger farms who are looking for a good deal.
Spreader, shooter, the cow brushes, we'll sell all of that in there.
Among the most prized goods are agricultural machinery.
This is an old truck that's 50 years old. It's not worth a lot.
Paul, the owner of this 250-hectare family-run farm, is the one selling all this material. With the pandemic, he has lost almost 40% of his revenue. He has therefore decided to stop working and to take early retirement. However, the business was flourishing before COVID hit. Paul had 7 employees.
This is where we milked.
And was producing 6,000 gallons of milk a day.
My dad used to milk 20 cows in here, and we were milking 450 3 times a day.
But last March, the price of milk crashed. With lockdown, it was impossible to sell the farm's produce.
My milk goes to pizza. A lot of it went to New York for the cheese for the pizzas and in Chicago. And they shut all the restaurants down, so they don't need the cheese. You don't need the cheese, they don't want the milk, so the milk went in there. 6,000 gallons, truckload. So that figures out to around, $9,000 worth of milk.
Millions of farmers like Paul have had to throw away their milk. More than 25 million gallons were also poured away in April. This is what Paul's barn looks like now. He has sold his 450 cows. Over the past few years, dairy farmers in the region have already been affected by a serious crisis.
There used to be hundreds of dairies in McHenry County, and now there's maybe
Harvard,
25.
Illinois was the milk center of the world. Yeah, it ain't now. There's nothing left now.
For these farmers, COVID was fatal.
Well, when you get paid $12 and $13 a hundred, and it takes $17 to produce it, it's kind of the backward trend.
Paul has a lot riding on this auction in order to pay off his debts.
Hey, sunshine. Big money day today.
Yeah, big money. You're here, so...
No, I'm here to bid it out.
Couple green tractors out there.
Yeah.
To seduce buyers, Paul is presenting the goods himself.
1973 Ford, only 12,000 miles on rebuilt Detroit diesel. All right, real good truck, ready to go to work here. What do you want to get here? Here, 84, now 85, 84, now 85, 184, now 85, 184, now 85, 184.
The bidding starts well.
84, 85, 84, 85, 84, 85.
1, 2, 3.
It's now on to the main event. A 6-wheeled monster, very popular with farmers.
Really nice lights on it.
It's Paul's favourite machine. The price is rising quickly. Several buyers bid against one another. 2 farmers won this auction in the end.
Now 64.5, now 65, now 65, now 65, now 65 and a half, now 65, now 65 and a half.
Around 25,000 more than the starting bid.
Thank you very much. Good job. 151.
151 is the number, 151.
Straight after the sale, the new owners head off with their tractor. Paul should have made around $300,000, just enough to pay off his last debts.
It went pretty good. I wish I got more. What do? That's the way an auction goes, you know. So.
1/3 of independent farmers could go bankrupt in the US by the end of the year. In the face of this crisis, it's only the large dairy farms that are doing well. On the other side of the country, Texas, the land of black gold, is also suffering the full force of the economic crisis. Workers and engineers were arriving from all over the country before the pandemic, attracted by oil money. In recent years, Midland's population has grown by 30%. With its 150,000 inhabitants, it had become the American black gold capital. But now, Midland seems like a ghost town. The town centre is still empty months after the lockdown. Construction is at a standstill. Shops and restaurants are closed. COVID has paralysed the local economy. For those who haven't left town, times have become difficult. This is Mark and Celine, 2 Mexican-born restaurant owners who live in this house with their 6 children. The couple ran a Mexican restaurant in Midland before COVID. After being open for only 6 months, when the business had only just started to make money, the pandemic forced them to close their premises. A few weeks later, they declared themselves bankrupt.
Cerramos la cocina primero y luego pues dimos, tenemos catering. We got catering. Tenemos $20,000, $25,000 por mes haciendo dinero. Todo.
Yeah.
Todo
en
lo
una
llamaron.
semana llamaron, todo cancelado, todo cancelado. Lloramos. ¿Sí? Sí, lloramos porque ¿de qué íbamos a vivir?
Mark has been anxiously checking his emails every morning since. He's hoping to be called for a catering job, but during a crisis,
Vente, papi.
events are scarce.
You know, this is why we do it.
Mark and Celine live with their 4 young children. The 2 oldest are no longer at home. Only Jesse is awake this morning to eat breakfast with his parents.
You gonna pray? No? Me? Okay. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the food. I ask, Lord, to bless it to our bodies and our bodies to service. Amen.
Like many others, they believed in the American dream, success in their careers. Their restaurant is located in the centre of town. It was Mark and Celine's lifelong dream. They had invested $120,000 after saving for months.
Mucho para invertir, de repente volteas y ya no hay nada en la cuenta de banco. Ya no hay nada, se fue.
Almost like a light switch. Party's over.
Overnight, they found themselves without income, a humiliating failure that Mark has almost never recovered from.
I tried to commit suicide 3 or 4 times, actually. I hate to say it, but, you know, there's times in your moment you get inside your mind and then you feel like there's no hope, and then you think, look, I mean, I'm worthless. You think, my family would be better off without me because I let them down.
20,000 restaurants have already shut down in the US. For those bankrupt owners, the consequences extend far beyond their business. Mark and Celine have just received a letter from their landlord threatening them with eviction. They are 2 months behind on the rent, more than $4,000 in debt.
Oh. Huh? This is the Texas property code that they say that if I cannot pay that amount, then I have after the 20 days, then they can kick me out. We can't. We have to hit $6,000 a month. I mean, it's all included for our cost of living.
The situation is now critical for the couple. Mark is willing to try anything, so he asks for help via social media.
Yeah, we are being evicted in 3 days. COVID is hitting West Texas in more ways of just being sick, but God is still with us.
Mark will know in a few days if his cry for help has been heard and if the family can escape eviction. At the start of the pandemic, most of the states introduced a standstill period to prevent tenants from ending up on the streets. But since the summer, a dozen states have started evicting people, like here in Ohio. The court is overwhelmed here in the city of Columbus.
This information, they put it on my door. They're trying to get me out.
100 tenants a day are summoned to be evicted during the pandemic. Tonica is waiting to go before the judge. This mum owes her landlord 6 months' rent, almost $5,000.
My field of employment is customer service and customer care. Once the pandemic hit, everything froze. So for the past 4 months, I have literally spent every day calling unemployment to get some assistance. I hate that I'm even in this situation. It's horrible.
Tonica will be pleading her case in the courtroom in just a few minutes. The stack of files is piling up on Judge Gene Edwards' desk. He only has a few minutes to judge each case.
Is it correct that this tenant was owing to the landlord on June 9th?
Yes.
And is this tenant, to the best of your knowledge, still living at that address?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Find in favor of the plaintiff.
Here, the law first protects the owners. It only takes 10 days to evict a tenant.
Based on your testimony, I'll find in favor of the plaintiff. It says I am going to find in favor of the plaintiff.
Thank you.
It's now Tonica's turn to get called up to the bar. At the next desk, the owner of her apartment and her lawyer.
Do you swear to tell the truth this morning as usual? Do you agree or disagree that you owed something to the landlord as of May 6th? Okay. And now, is there anything else you wanted to tell me about the case itself?
Well, if she doesn't want to go through with eviction, that's fine. Can I at least get 2 weeks?
Okay.
Because like I said, now I'm working from home, so I have to figure that out.
I understand.
And still be able to make payment arrangements with her and make payments at the same time.
So what that means, first of all, is that they're getting the option to place this red tag on your door. They're not required to do this, but they are just, like I said, getting the option. If they chose to do that, you'd have 5 days to move out of the property. But as I said, they don't have to do that. They could choose to talk with you, potentially even here this morning. And they're just now telling me that they are interested in at least talking to you, but you'll have to deal with them because at this point it's just entirely up to them.
Thank you.
The judge suggests an amicable agreement between both parties. Within the confines of the court, tenants can appeal to associations financed by public funds and private donations. Americans are generous. They donate more than $1 billion a day to charities.
Okay, do you have any cash? No. $2 for the bus today. Okay.
Tonica is seen by a social worker. Her landlady joins her. The head of the association can rehouse her or offer her financial assistance. This is Tonica's last chance.
You have to put everything she owes.
The social worker and the landlady do their calculations. In just a few minutes, an agreement is reached. The association is going to take care of most of Tonica's rent debts.
So then today you need to pay $850.22. Okay, and that way you'll be able to pay your September rent.
Tonica is stunned.
Okay.
Wow. She has just avoided eviction, a miracle. The landlady is relieved too.
They need a place to live, and the owner needs their money, and if all that works, then she's back employed. She's actually been my tenant for a long time, and I know that when she's working, the rent is paid. So with the resources, we're able to keep her in her house.
This is a new start for Tonica.
I was in a stuck situation this morning when I woke up, and I got up, meditated, I prayed, drank my juice. I was like, let me just go down here and see, what happens. And I'm glad I did.
On this day, 32 evictions were ordered by the judge and 15 cases will be resolved amicably. Amongst the 108 million tenants in the US, 40 million will be threatened with eviction by the end of the year. In the neighboring state of Missouri, Americans in Kansas City are being thrown out onto the streets with barely any warning. Kirsine has just received an eviction notice. Distraught, she has reached out to local media to inform them of her situation.
Okay.
By telling her story on camera, she hopes to delay the sheriff's arrival, who is responsible for throwing her out.
Basically living a nice, normal life, and then what happened after that?
Because of COVID, Kirsine lost her job as an assistant in the construction industry. Her new job only pays $800 a month. This isn't even enough to pay her $1,200 of rent.
And I don't really have friends and family that are able to help, so it's just, what if at this moment? There's not really a whole lot of time to think about.
Kirsine hasn't paid her last 2 months of rent. The judge gave her 10 days to leave the premises. On the 13th day, she is gathering her last belongings.
I'm prepping for being homeless. This is just my bathroom necessities, that I would have to take if I was in a shelter or if I needed to take a shower at the friend's house or to wash my clothes.
Kirsine was living in this house with her 2 daughters. To prevent them from witnessing her eviction, she sent them to stay with her ex-husband. In their old room, she's removing the last memories.
What's left? Jacket that was too small and some broken toys.
She'll leave the rest of her things in a storage unit a few miles away. She pays $115 a month for this, hoping it will be a temporary solution.
This is my life. Well, like I have everything that I might need, like now, like extra clothes, you know, if it gets cold, jackets, tools if my car breaks down, you know, the kids' clothes and stuff like that. If, you know, I need to get to it. I don't even know what's in here. Yeah, kids' clothes, shoes.
Kirsin is now listed as a bad tenant. She will be blacklisted as a bad tenant for years as a result of this eviction.
An eviction in Missouri, I think is 7 years. It stays on your record. So like I mean, most places will turn you down because of it.
She won't sleep in the street tonight, however. It's a relief for Kirsin. But this will be the last night she spends here. The next morning, a car was parked in front of the house. The sheriff had arrived. Contacted by Kirsin, the head of a tenants association arrives. She films the eviction using her cell phone.
What's going on? So what's going on? Are you here to evict the tenant?
Evicting them.
Kirsin has no other choice. She has to leave the premises as soon as possible with her last belongings.
It seems really violent to make people homeless in the middle of a pandemic.
You need to talk to somebody else, not me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Gosh, it must be a really hard job.
It's not easy. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
The landlord has sent a locksmith. The man is armed and has no sympathy.
She hasn't paid rent. Where's she gonna go? Someplace else.
Where?
Screw somebody else out of their money.
Huh.
Well, we're not gonna do that.
I mean, people have lost their jobs.
I bet you go in there, you'll find a brand new flat screen. That's where her money went. Every house we closed on was a brand new flat screen in the living room. That's where their stimulus money went. Didn't go to rent, didn't go to food, went to flat screens. So,
Wow.
You know, I don't have any feelings for these people. None.
Kirsin's last minutes in the house are over. The locksmith enters the house to evict the tenant.
Can you show me at 4152 Harrison Street?
Yes, I got my phone.
Oh, your air conditioner.
Yeah, my air conditioner too, I got that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Out. You're trespassing
Show you
now?
on Harrison Street.
I'm just telling you.
Well, trust me, I think I fucking know.
You're welcome, young lady. Have a good day. I
You
hope
too.
things get better for you.
Yeah, I hope you throw some more people out.
Good luck. You gotta go. That's it. All right.
Thanks to the charity, Kirsin will be rehoused in a hotel while waiting for a room in an emergency shelter. Since our filming, Donald Trump has suspended evictions, but they should resume at the end of the year. The health crisis hasn't only hit the American middle class. Here in Texas, it has even impacted oil giants like Shell or Exxon. It has also hit independent producers who represent 83% of American oil production. Like 67-year-old Carl Beach, black gold is his whole life.
I am a third-generation oil and gas producer. I can remember going out there with my dad when I was 12 and 13, started drilling wells and created a family oil and gas company. It's somewhere around 150 to 200 wells. So we've been there for a long time and have wells scattered all over the Permian Basin.
Flights grounded, road traffic in slow motion, the pandemic has reduced the demand for energy. Last April, the price per barrel fell to its lowest level ever. Carl had to shut down all of his oil wells. Something this Texan had never done before in his life.
With oil price went way down when OPEC and then dumped the market, and the oil went from $65 or $70 a barrel to zero, in a matter of months. So that, coupled with the COVID and lack of demand for fuels, has made it worse than ever.
But Carl can't leave his oil business idle for too long. If left unused, the extraction equipment deteriorates. So he has reopened some of his pits.
You got a hole in the tubing?
Yeah, this one's got a hole in the tubing. They're doing
Carl has come to meet his business partner on site.
This is one of your better wells?
This lease was actually down. We didn't have any production, so I had to
got to get one on to keep the lease.
Yeah, have to put one back on production to keep the lease.
The oil is always extracted the old-fashioned way by small producers like Carl.
Virtually unchanged. Not much of the process has changed in these shallow wells from when they were drilled in the 70s.
What does it cost you to drill a well with your equipment?
One of these shallow wells is about $65,000.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, this business was producing 500 barrels a day. It's now practically at a standstill. Carl and Walker had to make almost all of their employees redundant. In Texas, 100,000 oil workers have lost their job.
We had about 15 employees. We cut down to 4. And this crew right now, they're back just on a contract labor basis. I haven't been able to hire them back on full time. Just as we get work or jobs, I'll call them in and have them come in for a day's worth of work. But we just can't afford to have them on full time right now.
On the day of filming, the barrel price had risen to $37. But to make any profit from the production, American black gold must be worth around $50 a barrel. So while waiting for better days ahead, Carl and his partner store the oil in these tanks.
We aren't making any profit right now. We don't want to sell it at a loss. So we're selling enough just to get by, but we anticipate the price coming back up. And like right now, we're holding on to oil. I have a lot of barrels.
Oil money has made Texas the second largest economy in the country. Upmarket suburbs have sprung up all over the state, like here in northern San Antonio. Carl and his wife live here in this stately home. This evening, the couple invited their neighbors around for a drink.
Yeah, we vacation in New Mexico quite often before all this. And
where do y'all go in New Mexico? Really?
Santa Fe and Taos.
Oh, okay. I got you.
While they wait for the next holiday, these Texans know how to have a good time.
First taste. All right, awesome. Sample that.
There you go. Ah, that's good.
But the conversation quickly turns back to business.
We've been more focused on this GTL because I think I can make a lot more money out of it. They project us to make $100 million in less than 5 years.
That'd be pretty nice.
Carl is currently working on a big liquefied gas project, but the election could well cause the whole thing to fail.
They're scared to invest now. They want to see what happens in elections. They're scared if Biden gets elected, they don't know what they're going to do.
For these hardcore Republicans, they already know who they're voting for.
You know, who would take the presidency job in the United States of America? Because that's the worst job in the
Yeah, how does he not just walk away?
I know, but he don't need it. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need that job. That's right. How many other people do you know go to work and don't take a paycheck?
If we get through this election successfully with Trump, the country will recover quickly.
Yes. Quickly. You're right. Yeah, that's true. That is the truth.
I believe he's done everything that he could possibly do. Yes.
What is worrying Carl at the moment is the price of an oil barrel, which is still far too low. The producer's losing around $10,000 a month. So this Texan thinks it's time to sell some of his wells.
Hey, Don.
This morning, he has a meeting with a trader to see how much he can get.
Okay. So where are your properties located? We're in Anderson County, Texas.
It's a difficult decision for Carl. His family have never sold a single oil well, but with the pandemic, the market is not conducive to doing business.
I think we've lost 50% of our value today, and we've probably spent, over $2 million on that field. And, Don would have to evaluate it, but I would feel like if we could get half our money back, we would be very lucky.
COVID's been brutal to the oil and gas industry. It has been, it's affected all up and down the supply chain.
Carl will go on to sell 48 wells for nearly $1 million, enough to have a bright future ahead of him despite everything. Further north in Texas, we return to Midland. Mark and Celine are still looking for work to pay their rent. But an accident has further complicated their situation. their 6-year-old son,
How's your arm, puppy?
has broken his elbow while playing basketball.
Remember, the doctor wants you to keep it up.
Jesse will have his operation in 4 days.
When I heard he broke his arm, I was like, oh, what are we going to do?
Unlike France, the US doesn't have accessible health care for everyone.
We had no insurance. We lost our insurance. When we lost our business, we lost everything, you know.
How you going to do?
This at the moment is what we have at the moment. That's all we have. A church had donated to us to help us with the expenses. So this is $400, but to fix his arm, $11,000. And now we have to make payments. $11,000.
How are you going to do that?
I don't know.
Pero payments es como unos 4 años, 5 años para pagar.
We might have to take 4 years to pay.
Yeah.
Or if we have a good catering.
Yeah, también eso.
If work comes back, you know, we can make it. We can, but you know, keep it like that. Okay, I'm gonna go pay the doctor. Okay. You okay, Papa?
Mark heads to the clinic to try and negotiate the hospital fees. In the US, 1 in 2 workers are covered by private health insurance, paid for by their employer. So while millions of Americans became unemployed overnight, they also lost their health insurance. It is common to negotiate rates in American hospitals.
You own a catering company?
Yes, we do. We are, but we've lost like $60,000 in the last 3 months.
Oh, wow.
From people canceling because of COVID.
Mark didn't make much progress with negotiating at the clinic by the time he had to leave.
Well, they didn't tell me how much, but my first quote was $11,000. So I think they're going to try to reduce it. And I've got to call today and make an arrangement. So maybe we can talk then and we'll find out how much. Later on today, we'll find out how much they're going to charge us. So. Well, if you don't have insurance, of course, that's where it's going to have to work. Or you live with your injury. Lots of people do that. Yeah, it's not uncommon. But you know, we have to fix my kid's arm. You know, that's all we got to do. So, all right.
The health system in the US is one of the most expensive in the world. Mark has experienced this firsthand after breaking his collarbone in a car accident a year ago. After seeing the price of the operation, he decided not to be treated.
You know, see this right here? This is broken. This has been separated, and I can't do nothing about it. Unless, you know, if I grab some money, like $2,000 or maybe $3,000, I can go to Mexico and get it fixed.
Yeah.
Here, this surgery will cost $15,000. If I want to cover my family, it's $1,500 for 8. So, you know, you're like $1,500 insurance monthly. We'd probably die before we could pay it in insurance.
28 million Americans, around 10% of the population, do not have health insurance. Mark has no choice. He'll have to go into debt to pay for his son's treatment. A few days later, things are looking up for Mark and Celine.
Papi, te tienes que sentar, papá. La primera cosa que voy a hacer es preparar la carne. Okay?
After several months without work, they finally got a catering job. It's for one of their friends who is organising a small get-together. So, to help the couple out, she's hired them for the evening. The head of the household is 38-year-old Miriam.
Hey, Mark. I got the potatoes.
This woman runs an air conditioning business. This is the first party she's organised since the end of lockdown.
Like we used to. Mark always catered for us. He's catered for basically every event we've ever had. So 30, 50 people.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. For the baby shower.
No, the baby shower you had quite a bit.
Yeah, that's probably our biggest one.
They are making the last preparations before the event starts. But Mark is especially worried about the children.
Enjoy the water. I don't want anybody getting hurt. You never know. Just.
The first guests start to arrive.
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Good, nice.
That in the mood.
It's new. They're just opening. I did their air conditioners.
On the menu this evening, a Mexican buffet and some booze. Miriam's husband, Tim, has come to help out.
We needed your muscles.
This Texan made his fortune in oil. His hunting trophies are hung up in the living room. But this rich oil entrepreneur has another passion. His car collection is housed in the next room. Ferrari, Corvette, Plymouth. Luxury toys that Tim loves to show his guests.
Well, I mean, these days, they're getting up to 1,500 horsepower. What are you going to do with all that,
My friend.
I get pulled over every time. First time I drove that one, I got circled by 5 sheriff's cars.
Yeah, my friend's a car guy. He would love this. It's a memory of Fred gives.
Texans don't shy away from showing off their success, but they also know how to be generous. Following Mark's call for help on social media, Miriam organised a fundraiser. She took advantage of the evening to tell the couple how much money they had raised.
I'm frozen. Okay, now, well, Mark, I guess it was a good fundraiser. We were able to raise $6,546. $1,000.
I didn't expect that, really. Yeah.
$6,500 plus the $500 for the catering job, a sum they could never have dreamed of.
We could pay not be evicted. We're about to be evicted, so that helps out a whole lot. We're very humbled, actually.
Thankful for everybody that helped us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
COVID-related fundraisers in the US have raised $625 million since the start of the pandemic. Most of this money has gone to family businesses like Mark and Celine's. While the health crisis has left many Americans in trouble, for others, COVID has been an opportunity to make money. 1,500 miles away, California. Here, life almost seems normal, even though wearing a mask remains mandatory. In LA, some entrepreneurs have taken advantage of the crisis to manufacture anti-COVID products. 29-year-old Thomas, originally from France, is visiting his production workshop this afternoon.
On arrive à Fashion District. Tout le monde est rassemblé ici. Il y a à la fois des usines, il y a des fournisseurs de tissus, de fils, tout ce dont tu as besoin pour faire des vêtements.
Thomas launched his startup in 2016. His business idea? Clothes that protect against radio waves generated by cell phones. With the arrival of COVID, he decided to also start making masks that protect against the virus. Thomas checks the quality of his products with the factory manager.
Yeah, this one looks good. Yeah. That's nice.
It's going to have extra protection because it's 3-ply, right?
Aux États-Unis et à Los Angeles, tout le monde était en pénurie de masques. Donc on s'est dit, tiens, nous on a une technologie qui peut s'appliquer aux masques. Donc c'est comme ça qu'on s'est dit, pourquoi pas adapter notre tissu pour faire des masques. Et donc avec cette doublure en fil d'argent qui est antibactérienne, antivirale, on a vendu des dizaines de milliers déjà. On est quasiment, si on compare pré-Covid et post, je ne sais pas si on peut dire post-Covid, mais en tout cas après le début de l'épidémie, on fait à peu près du x3 en termes de volume de vente chez nous.
The sales boom has been so large that the workshop is short of staff.
Production has been up like 60-80%. Dealing with China is a big risk. All the factories and all the orders are coming domestically now. So that's why we're more busy since the COVID hit.
These anti-radio wave masks sell at around $24. The young entrepreneur heads off with today's stock.
So we have 250?
250.
Okay.
We got more coming tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, if you can deliver it to Santa Monica.
I'll be going to Santa Monica tomorrow.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jay.
Right,
have a good day.
All right, you have a good day.
A few miles away, in Santa Monica. This is where the French startup's offices are. The workplace atmosphere has completely changed in recent months.
Il n'y a personne ici? Non, c'est totalement vide. Les 4 étages du building sont vides. Tous les bureaux sont fermés en ce moment en Californie. Et donc nous, comme on fait des produits contre le Covid, on a le droit de venir travailler au bureau. Mais tous les autres, ils travaillent de la maison.
The building houses 20 or so American startups, a co-working space where more than 100 people were working pre-COVID. Thomas and his partner Arthur moved to California 2 years ago. They quickly found success with American customers.
C'est important qu'on puisse bien communiquer avec les ventes qui explosent en ce moment.
La tourne est bon, on va être prêt à lancer cette semaine.
Super.
The adventure began for these two with the anti-radio wave underwear.
J'imagine que comme la majorité des hommes, tu as ton téléphone tout le temps sur toi. Donc on a maillé du fil d'argent avec du coton et ça nous permet de recréer le même principe qu'un bouclier électromagnétique. Et donc avec ça, on est capable de bloquer 99% des ondes, téléphone portable, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. Donc avec ça, tu gardes ton téléphone dans ta poche et tu sais que tes précieuses sont protégées.
Underwear, hats, t-shirts, their clothing is a big hit. And according to their American shareholder,
Hey James.
Their small business could take them far. Arthur needs to update him on sales.
If you look at from the beginning of the year, we're like 8x compared to January. So it's kind of crazy.
James has invested a lot of money into Thomas and Arthur's business, and given the amount of sales they're making during COVID, he doesn't regret funding their startup.
It's interesting. I mean, there's definitely winners and losers right now. You know, e-commerce in general has done relatively well throughout this crisis. We'll see how that continues. Where health meets e-commerce is going to do particularly well. We don't get into any business if we don't think it could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue.
On pense que demain, les vêtements qui te protègent au quotidien seront les vêtements que tu porteras, tout comme quand tu rentres dans une voiture, tu mets ta ceinture de sécurité.
All right, thanks James. That was awesome. No problem. Thanks guys. Nice
Appreciate your feedback.
Have a good day.
But even in wealthy California, some people aren't making their fortunes. With the health crisis, there are more and more homeless people on the streets. In front of buildings, in parks, poverty is everywhere. The state of California already has 150,000 homeless. This number could increase by 30%. Now, even middle-class families are finding themselves out on the street. In San Diego, those who have a car at least have some sort of roof over their heads and can spend the night in secure parking lots.
Hi, Tucker.
Let's go.
This is the fifth night that Stephen, Anita and their dog Tucker are spending in this parking lot.
So many people are homeless on the streets every night here in San Diego and across America. So we're really grateful for our vehicle is our home right now, but we're grateful for it.
Stephen was in sales. In his former life, he was earning up to $100,000 a month, thanks to his commission. Anita worked in a research institute.
Subscribe to the inside. Hi. How are you? Are you guys new here?
4 or 5 nights now.
Did you come from out of state or are you from here?
We're from San Diego.
Me too. Look where we ended up, huh?
Because of COVID, Anita and Stephen lost both their jobs and their house. After 3 months in a hotel, they'd used up all their savings. They now carry their old life on the roof of their car.
So here's my real clothes.
There's a pie.
There's a couple ties. I'm used to, you know, coming home to a house. I never came home to a parking lot before, so yeah, I just got to get back to my feet, and who knows, it could be very soon.
This parking lot is open for free in the evenings to help families who have recently become homeless. It is managed by an association that pay a concierge and manage the facilities. There is a shower block and a bathroom, and also places for storing supplies.
You can store any frozen foods that you may have. You know, ice if you need ice for cold drinks, and just anything in the refrigerator that you need to have stored there. You can mark it, your initials.
Outside, there's a dedicated space for cooking. Anita and Stephen aren't the only ones to have been thrown out into the streets by the epidemic. Milo was the owner of a boxing club that closed due to COVID.
Well, it's more secure, and they feed you military down there. You got showers, you got bathrooms, so it's pretty accessible.
Even though he lives in his car, Stephen still enjoys the small pleasures of his former life. He'll never miss a game when his favourite team are playing. Tonight, around 20 people will spend the night in this parking lot. Other cars keep arriving late into the night. The next day, the couple are already up by sunrise. It's 7 a.m. Anita and Stephen are the last to leave the space.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Even though they're currently unemployed, the couple still hope to find some accommodation. Every day they look at offers online and dream of finding an apartment, but the rent is far too high.
What about that? 1 bedroom, 1 bath, $1,250.
Sure.
Okay. Studio apartment.
Normally when I'm working, I make $6,000 to $7,000 a month. And then with this, it's $1,200. It's a lifestyle change.
$1,200. That's how much the couple receive from the state every month. A fund introduced during the COVID crisis, but doesn't even cover the rent of a studio apartment in California. And since both are behind on their bills, there's no hope of getting a loan from the bank.
It's one of the biggest things in America. You have to have good credit. Your credit score is basically, it's a reflection of when you're on time every month paying your bills, paying your debts. If you're on time every month for a couple of years, your credit number gets higher. And then creditors, places trust you more. Once you miss a bill, that gets reported to the credit bureau and your number just drops. You start ending up on the bad end of it, and no one trusts you with buying stuff. So,
a relentless system that hasn't even been relaxed during a crisis. To forget their troubles, Anita and Stephen spend their days walking along the beach, one of the few places where you can relax for free. The couple wants to keep hope that better days will come.
capitalism works. It has worked time and time again, and it is the American dream is capitalism, is owning your piece of the pie. No, you'll never kill the American dream. No.
Since filming, Stephen and Anita have found work. However, they are still looking for somewhere permanent to live.
Las Vegas, Nevada, one of the most vibrant and wealthy cities in the world, with over 40 million tourists visiting each year. It's known for its high-stakes gambling and affluent clientele who visit all year round. But below and beyond the bright lights and incredible hotels lies a different story. Many people are living in poverty or are homeless and struggling to survive the very harsh and dangerous streets of the city.
Now, there should be more people that actually help. It's the worst thing in the world is being homeless. They push you to a limit out here.
No pity in Sin City, bro. Any military veteran?
Where we became homeless because of an eviction, we had nowhere to go.
With an estimated 6,500 homeless people now residing on the city's street, poverty in Las Vegas has been an increasing problem in the city and continues to rapidly grow. Sergeant Anthony Guerrero and his team are in a known homeless spot in North Vegas and regularly patrol the area. They are preparing to move in and hopefully relocate those homeless people dwelling there.
Right now, we're just going to go up there. We're going to put some tags that's
pretty much saying, hey, you have 48 hours to remove your tent from this area. That way they can't say when we come in on the day we do enforcement, they can't say, well, I didn't get a warning. So no, you had a notice. You were told to. So it's not like somebody just got there that day and set it up. We know it's been there. They've been complaining to all the residents that they've had people coming in their front yard stealing their items. They've been blaming a lot of the homeless problem that is in this area, all these tents that they keep coming into their neighborhoods and just committing all these crimes.
The officers come across a self-homed resident, but their attempts to move him are not as successful as they'd hoped.
Where is it supposed to go? Besides the shelter. These shelters, I ain't going to the shelter. Shelters, he gets COVID, gets the bed bugs, all that there, right?
I wish I had a good answer for you. I really do.
That's the problem.
I know.
No one has an answer.
I know.
They don't care. They just take everything they can. They don't care with your birth certificate, your social security card, your ID. They don't care about any of that. I had money to rent a place at a friend's, and my money was in my jacket last month when they took all of our stuff over there. So we're back out here. We got to work hard to getting our stuff back, and that's takes a while. So that really screws us over. I built this, so I mean everything. We lost everything, and we had no tent or nothing. So I had to do something to keep us warm, and I still don't even have a tent. So it's kind of hard.
It's just a one-room flat. You'll understand when you go in.
Got a couch, bed, shelves, no power, but batteries. Every 2 weeks, we got to tear it down, move it all, and then let them do their cleaning, and then I come back and put it back up. Now, there should be more people that actually help people instead of call and make little complaints because they're scared when most of the people out here are harmless and would help anybody.
With housing prices skyrocketing and jobs being scarce to find, the homeless community in Las Vegas is growing day by day. Only a handful of charities cater for the thousands of homeless people around the city in an attempt to get people off the street and back into society. U.S. Vets is a charity that aims to get homeless war veterans back on their feet. It's run by Giovanni, a former addict and rough sleeper himself, who understands the struggles and problems these people face every day.
Most people don't know mere steps away is one of the tunnels underneath the city where some of the homeless live. A lot of people move here thinking they're gonna become rich, and they end up losing it all and stuck on the streets.
Any military veteran? Any military veteran? Sir. How you doing?
Dean, a homeless vet,
US vet,
built himself a home shelter under this bridge, but is in constant battle with other homeless people and the authorities.
Is it just you up there, or do you have something with you?
No, that's just Steve, but there's a couple people there and somebody on the end. Hey, quiet!
Is that your doc?
It's the worst thing in the world is being homeless. You're never safe, not for one moment. And consider everything you have gone, stolen, gone through, like just, I lost everything in the wash, in a flood, like 40 miles an hour, 4 feet high, and the rain didn't do that. They release water, and then it comes, and they don't set off no alarms, no like sirens or anything like tornado, like, yeah, we're in there and we're not supposed to be there, like, but they know we're there. The tunnels are packed with people. You know what I mean? I think 9 people have died in the floods. It's almost a social experiment at this stage for me. You know, it's just so interesting. You know, you meet some of the most brilliant people, and then, you know, just the lowest dirt bag, like, pieces of shit ever out here. You know what I mean? They said, like, They'd be like, hey man, did you go through my stuff? Oh no, man, we wouldn't do that to you. I would tend to believe you if you weren't wearing my hat. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Like just the audacity is like, okay.
Giovanni does a formidable job of dedicating his life to help homeless veterans. But despite the best efforts of these charities, every year, sons, daughters, and loved ones are reported missing across the city.
My nephew is missing. He's been missing for 11 days. He's autistic and bipolar, and he's extremely manic. We don't know. We cannot find him. We don't know if he's resting. We don't know if he's getting sleep. We don't know if his body's shutting down, but we can't find him, and we need to find him. We need to get this out everywhere. We have been in every camp. We've been to every shelter. We've been from here to the Strip. We've been everywhere. The jails are picking up the mentally disabled or missing people, and then releasing them without notifying the family that they have been found. And that's tragic, because if you have a missing persons report out there, you should be connecting with your loved one right away.
So a lot of people go missing in Las Vegas, and most people don't have anybody like that that cares for them and is out looking for them. Especially for somebody with mental health. I mean, you never know what's going on in their head, you know what I mean?
Vegas Rescue Mission is a charity that puts endless hours into supporting the homeless communities by feeding, sheltering, and giving job support to those who come through the doors. Originally from the UK, Heather manages the charity, helping the homeless population get their lives back on track.
The Las Vegas Rescue Mission is privately funded, all but for a very small amount of money that's for our Intact Family program, and that's county funding money that we have for that. The solution we're always looking for as providers to help these individuals is affordable housing, and there's just none of that here in Las Vegas that's readily available for a lot of these individuals who are finding themselves on the street because they can't find somewhere that they can sustain paying rent for.
Tommy and his son have been homeless for many months now and have been relying on support from Las Vegas Mission.
If it wasn't for Las Vegas Rescue Mission, we'd probably be out in the street. We became homeless because of an eviction. There was no fault of ours. We paid this man 10 months of rent, and then all of a sudden, December 1st, we get a knock at the door, eviction notice. A marshal at the door said we had 24 hours. They stole half of our stuff that we put out in the backyard because we had nowhere to take it. We could carry what we could here, and that was it. We were just completely devastated. It was the man who we knew that was supposed to pay the rent said he was going to take care of us. No chance in that. My son goes to school. We get up every morning at 5 o'clock. I make sure he's ready to go. But other than that, then I come back. I got about 3 hours to spend myself. I've been looking for a job. I go to West Side Library, where I spend most of my time looking for employment. I've been out of work for 10 months now, or actually almost a year now. And I've looked online, 940 applications I filled out. I do have 2 interviews next week. I'm happy for that. We're moving step by step, little steps, but it should all come together.
Tommy has a job interview next week, which will transform his and his son's situation. If he's successful, they can get back to normal accommodation and finally get their lives back on track. Jay is an estate agent living and working in Las Vegas who supports the homeless people as much as possible by trying to house them. He is acutely aware of how bad the housing situation really is.
You know, we have a real problem in Las Vegas. We have a real problem in the United States, and I think Vegas really works as a microcosm. People come here with a dream. You know, it's corny, right? But people come here with a dream. They want a better life. They think they can find employment. Everyone is, just like everywhere in the United States, people are living check to check, barely making enough money to survive, barely getting by, and then anything can go wrong. Anything can go wrong. Any big accident, any mistake, you take a bad job. You're in Las Vegas. We have all the vices. You make bad choices and you can end up on the streets. And I think people don't want to look at it. People don't want to pay attention to it because it's scary, because that could be us. That could be me. I'm a real estate agent now. I figured I could deal with these communities and I'd really enjoy doing it. I could help middle class and lower middle class people like the areas we're going through. I could help them find homes and live that part of the dream. And I couldn't. They couldn't get mortgages. Prices went crazy during the pandemic. And these people ended up being forced to rent, which all of these houses got bought by these investors, by these cash buyers, by Zillow and iBuy, and all these awful fucking giant corporations, giant wealth piles that buy all these places. They buy all these homes, and then they end up driving up prices so that normal people can't afford any of it. Then they end up benefiting from it because they have this amazing pool of qualified renters who can't afford to get mortgages or get houses. It's just all the money always flows up towards the wealth. So, can't afford a house. You're paying your rent. Something goes wrong. You get fired from your job. It's the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs, right? You start falling behind. You can't keep up. You get evicted. You don't have an address. You can't get more work. It's a cycle that ends anyone who just gets unlucky enough. And the people who live here don't want to look at it because that could be us. Few things go wrong and that can be us. So nobody wants to acknowledge. Everyone, I lived in New York City, I've lived here, and the thing is most residents just walk by and don't look.
On the other side of Las Vegas, just past the south of the Strip, is Sunset Park, where police officer Perkins spends many of her working hours with the homeless.
Currently, we're going to take a stroll around Sunset Park and make sure everything is good and everyone is behaving. If there's anything of interest that I feel like I need to stop and talk to someone, I will do so. We have the radio on. We can also become dispatched to certain calls. If something happens, if someone calls 911 or 311, then they contact us, and when they tell us where to go, they give us the details. It looks like a couple individuals who possibly are homeless, just to make sure that, the park is being utilized for its intended purpose. And there's no one with any nefarious activity or behavior. I'm just gonna go make contact, consensual contact. Right now, I'm not seeing them violating any laws, so I have no reasonable suspicion or probable cause to detain them. Right now, it's a consensual contact. They wanna talk to me, that's fine, or they don't have to talk.
Julie has lived on the streets most of her life, but this makeshift house is providing the safety and accommodation that she has been desperately trying to obtain.
So how's everything else? How's everything going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Did you just get it?
Yeah.
It's got lights too.
Yeah, they're going to put a solar panel.
Oh, nice. And it just connects to your bike. Are you able to keep that up?
Yep, it's really.
That's like a workout, no?
And this right here just folds up. And this is actually, I'm supposed to get a milk crate, put it underneath back here.
Oh.
Okay. They said they're going to call me in a couple of weeks with a solar panel that goes up here. And then there's already a plug on the inside. It's like for
charging.
For a car, like a car charger. But then they're also going to have an adapter. They said where I can actually put a regular plug, which would be really cool.
Yeah. It could be scary at night. I'm not out here at night with her, but I've heard stories and I hear, I see things and I have to respond to things. There are some people who just don't take other people's safety into consideration, and they're out to do harm. They're out to do harm. They see something they want and they take it at any means possible, whatever that looks like.
The park is calm and quiet, with everything seemingly under control. For the next stop, Officer Perkins and her boss, Chief Rogers, head to one of the biggest homicide areas in southern Vegas. Giovanni is back on patrol, under one of the largest overpass bridges in Nevada. Here, the police have already started to flood out the homeless and remove them from their accommodation.
They're probably coming to clear out the area. What they do is they end up moving people. So they'll move to one area, and then they'll go and they'll move them from that area, and then they'll go to another area. So it's like a vicious circle. They just keep moving them around. It's the old adage, out of sight, out of mind. Because, you know, this is Vegas. People come here and spend thousands of dollars gambling, everything else. They don't want the tourists seeing the homeless on the sidewalk begging for change. A lot of times, some police do more damage than they do good. Luckily though, the ones that I've gone outreaching with and out on the streets, they're the total opposite. They're trained in mental health, and their job is to help get the people into programs and safe. Some of them were down there because they're doing drugs and they don't want to be seen. They don't want to be caught. Some of them are just falling down on their luck. And down in the tunnels, depending on the time of the year, it could either be warmer or cooler than the temperature above ground here. But on the other hand, when we have flash floods, those tunnels flood out quickly. And they have had people that have been in the tunnels that weren't notified and got washed out and died.
Dean is constantly trying to be moved by the authorities and struggling with the challenges at his home under the bridge.
Like, the lake was underwater. This tunnel system, you can see them, there's tunnels right behind there. The water gets as high as the roof on those tunnels. I mean, they cleaned good. The water rushes cleans out the tunnels, and then other people's stuff, and after the rain, it's like Christmas. As a homeless, I cannot not look down and see what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, it's incredible what you find.
Many people, like Dean, have built homes in tunnels and bridges not far from the Strip, but the police continue to move them on, even if they are unseen by the public.
This completed, I pictured it a long time ago, what I wanted to do. So, that's one thing. When they said they were coming, I was gonna film it. I was gonna put that TikTok. I want to watch them tear this down. It's, the workers who clean up the garbage and stuff. Go ahead. I would go ahead. What? I'm not bothering anybody. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. Why can't I stay up here? You know what I mean? It's maddening.
Clearly, the reality of being street homeless is much more fraught with danger and uncertainty than people realize. Dean's story is unique, yet echoes the situations of thousands of homeless people across the country. With his job interview imminent, Tommy is getting ready for the meeting, which will hopefully get him out of the shelter and back on his feet.
Today I have an interview, and I'm here today in Las Vegas Rescue Mission's thrift store to find a shirt for myself because our clothes got stolen when we moved out. And if it wasn't for this thrift store, I wouldn't be able to get a shirt for this interview. I'm really nervous. It's been over a year I've had a job, and I'm very anxious to get this this job because my son and I need it really bad. I just hope everything works out and find a shirt too. This is the one. Hey, look at this, guys. All right, this is the one. I'm gonna try this one out right here. Fantastic. And they got ties too. I'm not sure how to tie a tie them. All right. Hey. If you're homeless and you need some clothes, this is the place to come. Custom-made shirt here, though. I think it looks good, guys. The rescue mission does offer many avenues of finding clothes, if you need clothes, counseling, recovery, finding jobs, most important of all. And they do house you here. There's a lot of homeless people out there that need help. They should just reach out a little bit more, and the resources are there. If you're willing to get off the streets, this is the place to do it. Yes, I'm paying just for this interview shirt that I have right here. This is gonna get you a job today, this shirt right here. So I'm paying for that.
Are you homeless?
Yes, ma'am.
Free.
It's free? Oh, thank you. Look at that. Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right. I definitely interested. Thank you very much. Thank you for the shirts. This job is going to change my life considerably, because it's been over a year that I've been working, and I've filled out over 900 applications, and I'll be able to. I don't really would like to rely on the rescue missions any more than I need to, but I like to get this, be able to afford an apartment of my own, instead of going through social services or public aid. I'm staying focused and positive, like I've been doing all year. I know nothing's set in stone yet, but I'm just going there, and if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to keep trying. That's all I can do. It's going to hurt us bad. I'm just going to have to rely on rescue missions a lot more for what our needs are. But I'm prepared. I'm actually prepared in both ways. I'm glad I have that inner strength to be able to do that, where if I'm turned down, it's not going to destroy me. But even though it's going to be negative towards me, I'm just going to use it as a positive and just keep going. That's all I can do.
Officer Perkins and Chief Rogers have arrived at Pecos McLeod Trailhead, a local park that can be heavily populated with homeless people and rough sleepers. Crime is usually a daily occurrence in this neighborhood, and local residents constantly complain to authorities.
But when the citizen says the Pecos McLeod Trailhead, that it's got all these homeless encampments, what I believe that they're referring to is right below that area is a wash area, and that's the area that they're talking about. So we're going to check it out.
As they roam the location, the police see someone discard a life-endangering item.
The knife was about that big. You see him just pull it out of his pocket?
Pulled it out of
Yeah, it was about that big. Pulled it out and dropped it. So, yes, so you're gonna black and silver tire. Right above that tire, he dropped a very large knife.
James, who is homeless, has dropped a very large knife and walks toward the police. Many of the homeless carry weapons, as they feel they need to protect themselves from people trying to attack them or take their belongings.
Any other weapons on you?
Outside my brain? No.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it. Ooh. All right, James. What are you up to today? I'm Officer Perky. This is Chief Rogers.
I know Chief Rogers.
These are some good things. We're filming a documentary. We're trying to make a difference on homelessness. And I'm not sure if you have a home.
Okay, so I'm one of the older individuals. There's an older group. They used to be here in their 70s. Was introduced to this community by one of the elders at the time. When I first started coming around, there was a lot of hopelessness in people's eyes because they'd never seen anybody who kept their word and was a piece of shit, and then you know, dirtbag them or do something to them. And I was that beacon of light, so to speak. One of a few that have come through here and tried to help out individuals or help individuals regain whatever normalcy they used to have at some point. A lot of the community and a lot of people go around with the attitude that this is not my problem. And they're wrong, because not only is it their problem, it's my problem. And I am one to believe that society as a whole is failing, because this is not just happening here, it's happening on other continents.
After speaking with James and understanding he is not a threat to police officers, Perkins is led to where he thinks she saw the knife being dropped.
I'd rather you stay right there.
Officer Perkins goes back to speak with James again, who is now with a friend, to investigate further.
You're the master of all this? Got any weapons on you? No weapons? You just record me? Mind if I check you real quick? All right, get your hands back over. All right, so James is saying that you fix bikes for people, kind of your area.
They're trying to keep this protected from other people stealing this stuff, and trying to keep people from stealing either one of our stuff is an issue sometimes, because we do have individuals that come through here that don't respect other people's stuff and will steal. So having to deal with that, and then finding out who did it, and then retrieve some people's stuff, like with the older individuals, when they get their stuff stolen, I mean, they're not gonna go chase somebody down to go get their stuff back. So they usually come to us and say, hey, look, my bike was stolen. You know, if somebody came, the community came and said, hey, look, my bike was stolen, and it was stolen from this place, and it's just kind of bike was. 9 times out of 10, he'll find it and return it to the person. You know, we're trying to close that gap and heal some of the wounds that have happened over the past, because there have been other individuals that were here previous to us being here that made a lot of garbage, that did crimes, that or had addictions that neither one of us have, that have left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. We're trying to, let those individuals know that, hey, look, we're not those individuals, and judging us as you were still dealing with them is not fair to us, and it's not helping you out. You're looking at me as if I'm some drug addict criminal. But what you're not looking at, the man who has a master's degree in communication. You're not looking at the individual who served in the military. You're not looking at the individual that did a lot of things before this. I could get out of here and do these things and go into these groups and whatever and leave that way. I don't want to. I want to work my way out of here.
People want to work and don't always want the help from the charities or the police. Homeless people with disabilities are often pushed to the fringes of society. And in Vegas, communities like this are the only support they get. 2 homeless people that didn't want to be named live inside the homeless encampment and tell us their struggles.
We have a lot of homeless around here in these parts. It's the west side. And we need way more help than what they're receiving. I do something like John the Baptist. I teach the worst of sinners, so that's why I'm here and out here. In order to teach something, you have to go through something, or you be misleading the world. You don't know how they really feel. You gotta know how I feel to be hungry, how I feel to be thirsty, how I feel not to have clothes and shelter over your head when it's raining and it's cold. So I see how hard it is, and it's very hard. They say the strongest survive. So what y'all looking at is the strongest. Now, this is a field that's not owned to no one, as you can see. So why kick them out? They're over here by themselves. As you can see, the people that's right there is tagged, you know? They had tents, and they was set up right. They had the little bathrooms that the city would come and bring. Now they don't bring none of that.
This area's changed so much, man. You used to come to Vegas, and Vegas has so much love for humankind. Like, they didn't give a fuck with color, religion. None of that mattered here. People would come out and feed you everywhere. In the city, the richer people decided that we were scumbags or something. I don't do drugs, I don't drink alcohol. I live out here by choice. I have cancer. Right now, it's not by choice, actually, because I only make $800 and some a month Social Security. Then they check me every 2 months, like I didn't get my benefits this month, because they want to make sure I'm still active cancer. How am I not a human being? How do I not have rights? I could be out here selling drugs. I could be out here robbing people. I could be out here doing all kinds of bogus shit. I'm from the projects. I've seen it all.
On the corner over there, the blue tent, it's all deaf people. They all deaf.
Right here, too.
They all
It's
deaf.
a deaf family. Skunks is deaf. He's my cousin. So I've had sign in my life for a long time, but I have autism and seizures, so I forget names. And a lot of people already don't even remember. So we become one. There's good and bad, so you gotta weed them out.
Back over on the other side of the city, Tommy has just come out of his interview and has hopefully been successful in getting some much-needed employment.
Wow, man, I got a job today, not one, but two, and I am so grateful from the Lord that He's answered my prayers today, man. Not one, but two jobs I got today. And what that does for me and my son, you just don't, there's no words can explain how I feel right now. It's awesome. And now, my son, Kalen Pedersen, your dad is now an employed person, and I'm gonna be looking out to make our life even better for me and you, man. Okay, buddy? All right? Cool.
Tommy has landed 2 jobs today, which will allow him and his son to get back to society and build a life in Las Vegas. On his way to North Vegas, where homeless people are residing, Jay, the estate agent, is discussing some of the causes of homelessness in the city.
We can look at homelessness in the country and in Las Vegas in particular and the causes of it. And there are many, right? Mental health, I put very high on the list, and how this country does not address mental health. We don't worry about it, we pretend it's not there. So then a certain portion of the homeless population are people who are sick and need help and aren't getting it. They get messed with by the cops, they get shoved into different places. Sometimes they get arrested, but they never get help. The way this can work, the story Americans are told, the American dream, you buy a house, you pay it down, and it's actually a way of saving money, right? You pay your mortgage, so you owe less in the house. Eventually you own a house, which you can sell, and then that's your retirement. That's the dream. It's been gaining value the whole time, right? And you're happy. So when you cut people off from that, when there's no access to that, there's no hope. I mean,
In some communities, the homeless are living in abandoned buildings, fed up of dealing with the police every day and the other dangers that lay in the back streets of Vegas. They reside here to survive and stay out of trouble. Bobby is one of the homeless people living here alongside his friends who did not want to be named.
This house here is open to the public. You know, it's an open door policy. That's why there's a lot of people here. That's why cops don't like us, because when it rains, we have a place to go. When it rains out there, they throw you out for the tunnels, throw you out for the bridges, everything else where you can keep dry. You know, being homeless for 25 years, I've been all over the place. This is about the best place. But the cops just don't care. They give you 5 minutes to pack your shit as DOT takes it.
Sorry, hey, I'm sorry. I just getting up. I was just waking up to this world.
It's a money town. Use it for tourists. They don't care about the people that's suffering right now. So
people say don't trust anybody.
Somebody speak or whatever, to help us like that, we'd probably be in a situation we would. We're not bad peoples. We're not here to say, oh, we're gonna rob you or take stuff from you. We're here to help you. You know, I love to help people. You know, I learned that from divining streets, you know what I'm saying? How to conduct yourself better, know how to be respectful to people, you know, and then go up, shake a hand, meet a friend, you know what I mean?
Jay arrives at the abandoned house where the small community of homeless people are in constant battle with the authorities. His view, though, is that what they're doing is not only beneficial, but also gives them a sense of purpose.
All right, we're at the home that the intrepid filmmakers visited earlier. They're the people trying to squat to establish ownership. Now, in Nevada, you need to live there continuously for 5 years, which my recollection is quite typical. 5 years is a normal time period that you would need to conspicuously occupy a property to gain ownership over it. In Nevada, you also have to establish that you're paying the property taxes, which seemed challenging, but this is something homeless people can do. They're so often trapped in a loop. They don't have an address. They can't get a job. They can't improve their situation. So at least trying to enforce squatting rights gives them an action to take. I do think that this is a methodology that's being used by people who advocate for the unhomed, and I think it's a good strategy. I think if you can find these properties that are not being used, they're in disuse, and you can improve them, you're taking all the risk, right? Like, you are working, and you may not end up owning that property, but like I said, at least it gives you an action, it gives you something, it gives you hope, it gives you things. I think this is a great strategy and something that should be employed nationwide.
Jay feels strongly about making a change for the homeless people here, but believes it's not just local charities and law enforcement that should rectify the problem. It's a far-reaching governmental problem that needs urgent attention. The stark contrast between the famous Las Vegas Strip and what's beyond is clearly evident.
This is what everyone thinks of when they come to Las Vegas. It's the Strip, it's shiny, it's bright, it's neon, it's great, it's relatively clean, and it should stand in incredibly stark contrast to everywhere else you have seen in this film. Because this is where the government cares. This is what they worry about. This is where there's public transportation. This is where cops patrol. Not anywhere else. Not to the same extent. This is where all the money goes. And most of it's going to the people who own those big shiny buildings, the corporations who own everything, and not to the people keeping all of this going. Never to them. And that puts them in the place that we've been talking about. That puts them on that slippery slope where one thing goes wrong and they're on the street suffering like everybody else, desperately trying to find hope anywhere, and just abandoned by their city, their society, their country, right next to all of this.
Many of the homeless are also living on the Las Vegas Strip. Jolie used to be one of them, but now works outside the Bellagio Hotel as a photographer.
When I first arrived in Vegas, I was homeless. I think a lot of people migrate here because the opportunity is a good opportunity to make some side money on the street. You get what I'm saying? Now, also with the homeless, I think it's like a mental health issue, you know, that, people who went through post-traumatic stress, PTSD, and some got over the hump and some haven't, So I think the homeless is mostly just based off that, they went through a traumatic event in their life at some point, and they just haven't recovered. Most of them are peaceful, but the ones that come through here on this part of the Strip, I got a kind heart, so I hold little light conversations with them, this, that, and the fourth. Like I said, most of them are really cool individuals. They're just trying to get through life and cope with, the situations that they've been through, One thing that I don't like is the couple individuals that may be well off in life. They may look down on the homeless, this, that, and the fourth, but I don't think that they should do that. And the way the society is going, with the economy and things like that, it can happen to anybody real quick. So you can be living a life where everything is great. All of a sudden you lose your job, this, that, and the fourth, and then the next thing you know, you're in a situation where you're homeless, you know what I'm saying? And I personally think that some individuals, it may take for them to go through that experience to have the sympathy for the people who are in that situation and who can't mentally get themselves out of the situation. If you know, that's just my take on it, you know?
Although Jolie has managed to get his life back on track, for others, it's a different story. Joel arrived in Las Vegas with big dreams, but like many, got rejected by the big city and became homeless.
So at 23, I lost it all. Started doing drugs, lost everything. Walked down to the studio apartment that we had with one backpack in the snow, 3 feet of snow coming down, and I'm walking the 5 miles from the Y to state line in my hometown. I didn't lose everything because of methamphetamine. I lost everything because of the situation that I was in. I have been harassed by the police, by the security guards, by every force of life. I get beat down. I got in a fight a couple weeks ago. A guy hit me for no reason. He blew my right eye apart. I have popped blood vessels in the right eye. I had a broken nose. He hit me across with a right cross and tore me apart and tried to kill me in the parking garage right down the road at the Tex-Mex. Homeless are so extensive in Las Vegas because of the tunnels that they have in Las Vegas. The tunnels, there's 270,000 square miles of tunnels in Las Vegas. Huge. It's not dangerous unless you're down there causing them destruction. If you're down there to tell on anybody, if you're down there to get in with somebody who you're trying to get in with and they don't like you, they'll alienate you in a minute. I actually got dropped off in the Bally's parking garage on the 4th floor, July 5th, 2018. I got dropped off with no shoes on my feet. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of good people. I met a lot of bad people. You get every walk of life in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world.
But despite the hardship he's suffered, Joel is still optimistic about the future.
I'm tired, I'm exhausted, but everything's gonna get better soon. I know that. I'm off to greener pastures. I just need to remember where I came from, and where I came from was stability and a household where my mother and father cared, and not blame anybody but myself. I'm number one. I'm number one who made my mistakes. I will make my bed and I will lie in it. I know there's something out there. I know there's a future out there for me.
I can't come here. I live here, and most of the people you talk to who live here don't come to the Strip. Part of it is because this is where all of us work. This is where our bosses take advantage of us. This is where we're reminded that this is what everyone with money and power in this city cares about. And it's not any of the neighborhoods we've been in. It's not the middle class ones, it's not the poor ones, it's not anywhere. It's just here. All I see is exploitation. All I see is people being taken advantage of. And I can't be a part of it.
Although the homeless try to keep themselves hidden, many are still on the Strip and beyond, trying to earn a few dollars from the high levels of tourists. Hidden amongst the bright lights and exclusive hotels, the flip side of Las Vegas is clear for all to see, having one of the biggest homeless issues in the USA, which continues to grow at an alarming rate. Fortunately, there are stories of hope from the goodwill of ex-homeless like Giovanni and the charities that attempt to help the homeless of the streets. Jay, who lobbies the authorities to do something about the problem, to Tommy, who finally succeeded in regaining employment and hopefully a home of his own once more.